Two bright suns hung over Curvath. Prime as Ragnar's warship came down through the orange clouds. The planes below were made of shining crystal, throwing back the light like broken glass. Inside the ship, Ragnar's claws tightened around the handle of his plasma blade. The weapon hummed softly, full of deadly energy for 3 long cycles. He had searched the outer rim, every station, every dark moon, every rumor. He was looking for his missing cubs. Now the trail had led him here, to a small human colony at the far edge of known space. Humans, even the word tasted bitter to him. They were soft and fragile. With thin skin and weak teeth, the Carvian Empire had beaten them in war twice. But humans still spread across the stars like seeds on the wind. And now, one of them had taken what mattered most to him, his children. The warship landed with a heavy metallic sound. Ragnar didn't wait for the ramp to fully open. He jumped down, his 8-foot-tall body landing like a predator. His tail moved behind him, full of tension and anger. His honor guard followed into 12 of the best warriors in the Empire, each carrying weapons powerful enough to destroy buildings. Spread out! Ragnar growled in his harsh native tongue. Find the human. Find my cubs. The colony was small, maybe 300 people. Simple buildings stood around a central dome, which seemed to be their market and meeting hall. When Ragnar walked into the square, the colonists froze, then they ran in fear, scattering like prey animals. Good, he thought. Let them know fear. Let them understand what happens when you steal from a Carvian Alpha. Where is she? Ragnar roared. His voice shook the air. Where's the human? Called Mira. An old man stepped forward, hands raised. Please, he said, voice shaking. There's been a misunderstanding. Where? Ragnar repeated louder, with a sharp hiss. His plasma blade ignited. Blue-white light filled the square. Da-da! Medical center. The old man stammered, pointing toward a low building at the edge of the colony. But please, you must listen! Ragnar was already moving. He marched to the medical center, his warriors around him. The door slid open as he approached. Inside, the air smelled like medicine and fear. Mira! Ragnar roared down the corridor. His voice shook the walls. Return what you have stolen, and I will give you a quick death. At the end of the hallway, a door opened. A human woman stepped out. She was small to him, simple-looking, dark hair pulled back, face tired, but with a kind of quiet sadness in her eyes. You found us, she said softly. She did not run. She did not raise a weapon. Behind her, Ragnar heard them small, familiar sounds, the chirping noises of Carvion cubs. His cubs are inert, lifted his blade higher. Step aside. Human, he growled. Those cubs are mine by blood and law. I know, Mira said. Her voice was calm. Even with death in front of her, I've been waiting for you. Ragnar, she knew his name. Rage burned in his chest. You dare, Papa? The word cut right through him. He stopped moving. 2 small faces peeked out from behind Mira's legs. 1 boy. 1 girl, both young. Their scales still soft from their first molting. His cubs, Sarah and Kale. Alive, safe. Papa came. Sarah chirped happily, but she didn't run to him. Her little claws stayed wrapped around Mira's leg. Mama, is Papa angry? Kale asked, looking up at Mira with big, trusting eyes. Mama. The word hit Ragnar like a blow. His blade shook in his hand. What have you done to them? He snarled. What poison have you fed them? Mira slowly knelt, putting her arms around both cubs. She held them close. Protectively. No poison, she said quietly. Only medicine, food, shelter. I gave them safety when they had none. Lies, Ragnar snapped, but even as he said it, his eyes told him the truth. The cubs were healthy, well-fed. Their scales shone with proper care. There were no wounds on them, no signs of pain, no fear in their eyes when they looked at her. Only love. Your mate died. In a border skirmish 6 months ago, Mira said softly, your ship was destroyed. These 2 escaped in a life pod that crashed 3 kilometers from our colony. She took a breath when we found them. They were hurt, hungry, and terrified. Ragnar's blade lowered a little. He remembered the attack, the explosion, the emergency orders, the broken wreckage. He had searched for days. He had thought them dead. I should have killed them, Mira said. Ragnar's eyes snapped to her. There was no hatred in her face, only honesty. After what your people did to our colonies. Her voice trembled for a moment. After the wars, the dead, the burning cities, I had every reason to let them die. She hugged the cubs closer, but when I found them in the wreckage crying for their mother, her voice broke. I couldn't. I'm a xenobiologist. I took an oath to protect life, even the life of my enemies. And we're not enemies anymore. Sarah said suddenly, Mama says the war is over. She says we can be friends. May she read us stories, Kale added, and made special food when we were sick. And he leaned closer to Mira, then spoke in a whisper that Ragnar could still hear. She cries sometimes at night. Kale said, I think she lost her cubs too. The plasma blade slipped from Ragnar's hand and crashed to the floor. He stared at Myrrh. This human. This weak. Soft creature he was trained to hate. She should have been his enemy instead. She had become something else. He saw the deep pain in her eyes now. Not just tiredness, grief. How many? He asked, his voice rough. 2. Mira whispered. A boy and a girl. They died in the attack on New Terra Station 3 years ago. Ragnar knew that name. He hadn't fought there. But he had read the battle reports. No survivors. The truth pressed down on him like heavy gravity slowly. Ragnar knelt, his huge body lowered until he was at eye level with his cubs. They looked at him with confusion. They loved this human woman, but he was their blood, their real father. Come, Ragnar said gently. He extended a clawed hand. Your papa has returned. Sarah looked up at Mira. Can papa stay with us? She asked. Mira swallowed hard. I'm not your real mother. Sweetling, she said. Your father is here now. You should go with him. But you'll be alone again, Kale protested. You'll be sad. Ragnar watched Mira's face break. She tried not to cry. And failed. He thought of his own pain. The emptiness left by his mate's death. The hole in his heart. He thought of Mira. Holding his cubs instead of killing them, feeding them, teaching them, loving them like they were her own. He thought of everything he had been told about humans, that they were weak, selfish, unworthy. But this woman had chosen mercy when she had every reason to choose revenge. The war is over, Ragnar said slowly. The words felt strange in his mouth. He looked at his cubs, then at Mira. Maybe there is another way. Hugh stood up. Behind him, his honor guard shifted. Unsure. They did not understand what was happening. Ragnar turned fully to Mira. My cubs call you Mama. Ah, he said. They live because of you. By Carvian law. That makes you family! He held out his massive hand to her. Come with us, he said. Not as a prisoner, as. He struggled for the right word. As their mother, as you have already been. Tears ran down Mira's face. I'm human, she whispered. I'm your enemy. I know, Ragnar replied. Maybe that is exactly why I need you with us to learn a different way. Outside, the twin suns were sinking, painting Karvath Prime in gold and red. Slowly, Mira reached out and placed her small human hand in his clawed one. The cubs cheered, throwing their arms around both of them for the first time since the war. Ragnar felt something new growing inside him, a thought. Maybe real strength was not always in blades and battles. Maybe the strongest warriors were the ones who knew when to lower their weapons and when to reach out a hand instead of striking.